We'll talk about the graphing section. You're supposed to read through this and answer questions 31 through 34. So let's go through 31 through 34. 31, it says, suppose a substance was cooled from 83 to 22 degrees Celsius. Which of the following pairs of temperature in Celsius degrees should you choose for your lowest and highest values on the vertical axis of a graph of the cooling curve? Well, if you read through this, it says we want to be a little bit above the highest number and a little bit below the lowest number. So we have a little bit of space to work with. So 0 and 100 it doesn't define what a little bit is, but that is, yes, a little bit above and a little bit below. Same thing with 20 and 90, whatever fits your graph paper. Okay, so both of those answers, A and B, will work. Letter C will not work because it's exactly on the numbers, and that's going to give us some odd intervals. And then D won't work because 30 is above 22 and 80 is below 83. Okay, so the best answer for 31 is A and B. Let's go on to 32. 32 says, what values correspond to points A through D on scale 1 of figure B, and what values correspond to points E and F on scale 2? So I'm just going to write up above these letters what they are. Remember, we always read one place beyond what the scale gives us, so we'll do that here too. So A is pointing, looks to me exactly at 2, so I'm going to call it 2.0. B is in between 4 and 5. I would say that's about 4.5. C is exactly on 7, so 7.0. D looks to me like it's a little bit closer to 9 than it is 10. I'm going to call it 9.4. And then letter E, it's halfway between 0 and 5. I know that that's going to be about 2.5. But I don't know how to read one place beyond this scale because of what the intervals end up being. And then letter F, if it's right on this line, I think that's 6.6 repeating. I'm just going to round it to 6.7. So which points are easier to read and why? On letter B, scale 1 is. And the reason why, those are normal intervals. Most people don't take 5 and divide it into thirds, which would make this, I think, 1 2/3, 3 1/3, 5, 6 2/3, 8 1/3, and so on. Okay, that's not a very good way to divide up that scale. This is a much better scale to use. So let's move it up and look at 33. 33 says, on which of the scales shown in figure C would you draw, or would you choose to plot each of the following sets of numbers? In each case, explain the reason for your choice. So on letter A, we have 9 to 36. I would say the best scale for that is scale 2. It goes from 0 to 40. On B, we've got 17, 23, 55, and 62. The best scale for that would be scale 1. All right, we get a little bit of space at the beginning, and a little bit of space at the end. And then letter C, 23.5, 31.2, 34.8, 39.0. The best scale for that would be scale 3. And the reason why for all of these is because they give you a little bit of room before the first number and a little bit of room after the last number on the scale. And then number 34, examine the horizontal axis on figure 3.5. What reasons can you give for numbering only every 5th division rather than all the divisions? So this is figure 3.5 right here, and you can see that they didn't put a mark in there. And the main reason why they didn't do that, they did the same thing on the y-axis, is if they do, it's just going to look really sloppy. So I'm going to say looks sloppy and hard to read. So those are the answers to graphing.